History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And when it comes to drug prohibition, we've heard the song before back in the 1920s, during America's crusade against alcohol. The lessons we could have learned back then, we ignored them. In 1919, the U.S. government passed the 18th Amendment and the Volstead Act, banning the sale, production, and transportation of alcohol. Supporters claimed it would reduce crime, improve public health, protect families, and end addiction. Sound familiar? But what actually happened was the opposite. Alcohol went underground. Black markets exploded. Quality control vanished and people died from tainted booze. Violent gangs like Al Capone's rose to power. Police corruption spread. Prisons filled up. And ordinary citizens were criminalized for normal behavior. Sound familiar now? After 13 years of violence, hypocrisy, and failure, America finally admitted the truth. You can't eliminate a vice through force. So, in 1933, Prohibition was repealed. But instead of learning from that lesson, we just picked a new target. Today, drugs like marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and MDMA are prohibited in much the same way alcohol once was, but with even harsher penalties, larger markets, and higher stakes. Let's compare the dynamics. For alcohol prohibition, the banned substance was obviously alcohol. Today's drug prohibition has multiple drugs. The black markets of yesterday were bootleggers. Today we call them cartels and gangs. The violence used to be mafia shootouts. Today it's good old narco wars and urban gun violence. The unsafe products back in the day used to be toxic beer and toxic moonshine. Today it's laced drugs, especially fentanyl. The corruption is blatant back in the day and today. And thankfully, we repealed alcohol prohibition in 1933. When we'll end drug prohibition? That's to be determined. The difference? This time, we're not talking about just one substance. This time, the war is global and deadlier than ever. So here's the key truth. Drugs don't cause violence. Drug laws cause violence. When a product is banned, but demand stays high, that market doesn't disappear, it just moves into the shadows, where there are no courts, no contracts, and no accountability. That's why black markets rely on guns instead of lawyers, intimidation instead of insurance, bribes instead of mutual incentives. This isn't speculation, it's the economic reality. Legal businesses don't assassinate competitors, but cartels sure do, because that's what prohibition incentivizes. Illegality doesn't just make drugs violent, it makes them deadlier. With no oversight, dealers cut products with toxic fillers to boost profits. Fentanyl is often used to stretch heroin, causing overdoses. Synthetic knockoffs flood the market, untested and of course unpredictable. And pills are counterfeited with lethal doses. Under prohibition, there are no labels, there are no dosage controls, and there's certainly no recourse. It's a gamble, and people die every day. Some argue that legalizing drugs would send the wrong message or encourage use. But remember, we legalized alcohol, tobacco, and gambling, and yet we still have rules, age limits, quality standards, advertising restrictions, education campaigns. It's not that society is encouraging drugs, it's simply accepting the harsh reality that keeping it underground is even worse. Legalization doesn't mean endorsement, it means accountability. And, more importantly, it means ending the violence that prohibition creates. Cartels and drug bosses actually have every incentive to keep the war on drugs going. If drugs become legal, their multi-billion-dollar drug empire would vanish overnight. We already saw this story with alcohol. We saw that banning a popular substance doesn't eliminate demand. It multiplies harm. The drug war is just Prohibition 2.0, only this time, the gangs are bigger. The prisons are fuller. The substances are stronger. And the death toll is in the hundreds of thousands. And yet, the government insists just one more raid, one more arrest, one more $1 billion. It didn't work then. It's not working now. And it never will work. So the question becomes, if prohibition created the violence, the chaos, and the danger, then what would happen if we took the power out of the black market and put it in the hands of peace, choice, freedom, and transparency? Let's talk about what really drives this war. The question of who owns your body.